I didn't want to tell nobody, but I fell down the street down there, and I picked myself back up, and I said, oh, man, I can't do that. Jenny told me to just keep on running. I start running. Yeah, that's scary. And see, when that, like I said, I started turning off clothes. If y'all see some pieces of clothes or something that ain't y'all, it's mine. So y'all, I know how to sew, so I can sew part of it back on there. My shirt might be a little different, like Stephen her and Stephen over there, but it'll work. It'll work. You know, I had one resident, for some reason, all the time, she used to always call me Jimmy. Always call me Jimmy. So I thought my name was Jimmy. So when I come to work, I just knew if I see her in the morning outside in the morning when I come to work, she say, hi, Jimmy. So I tell her, you know, hi. I see her in the highway. She, hi, Jimmy. Hi. And all of a sudden, I stopped her one day. I said, ma'am, I don't mean no harm. I said, I just want to let you know my name is Stephen. So she did like my grandma. She popped inside me and said, you don't play with God like that. I've been calling you Jimmy all this time. I said, well, man, I ain't want to, you know, for you to think I was rude. She said, well, nah, I'm thinking you rude now. So she popped me again. So I told her, I said, well, you want me to go make us a peanut butter jelly sandwich so we can get that out of the way? Oh, okay, Daddy, y'all can get that out. You know, the other day, I went to Church's Chicken, and I told him, I said, man, I'll be right back. I left my teeth there. They sold it. These are new ones I got, what I'm saying. They permanent, though. They permanent. I like these better than the other ones, though. The other ones, you take them out and scare somebody. You know, when I was little, everybody know about the chicken pox and measles? The chicken pox and measles? Well, when I was little, I had both of them. I had them at the same time. So you know that little lotion they put on your body, the cameline lotion they put on your body to make it go away? Well, around that time when I had the measles and chicken pox together, it was Halloween time. So that's what I went out in my costume. So I went to the lady on the door and, you know, trick or treat. The lady said, "Oh, wow." She said, "What are you?" I said, "The measles and chicken pox." I think she gave me every candy she had. She said, "Well, you keep this, you don't need it." Yeah, I like that joke. You can say that. You know, I just got a car recently, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, thank God about it. I just got a car, but lately when I come to work, I was using somebody else's car. It was a man up the street. He got one of those little cars like that. He tell me all the time, he say, "Stephen, if you can get this car to go faster than 5 miles per hour, I'll let you ride it." I put a car motor on it. We was going 85 down to 30. Yeah. You know, the other day when I did get the car and I picked up my son, and we was riding on the freeway, and you know, cars nowadays, back then they didn't have cruise control. You had to actually, you know, do it yourself. But you know, nowadays the cars got cruise control. So I just happened to put the car on cruise control, so I know I'm going the speed limit. I want nobody to get stopped or nothing. But my son, he tripped me out. Junior said, "Daddy," he said, "we sure is going slow." I said, "What you want me to do? Speed up and so we can get a ticket or something?" He said, "No." He said, "I'm just saying we going so slow. The only car we passed up was the one broke down on the street." I said, "Oh man, I ain't going that slow, am I?" Okay. Everybody know what Lake Worth is, like the Lake Worth Bridge, and where the base is behind here? Yeah. Okay, I do too. I just want to see if y'all knew about it. Do anybody in here like sweets, candy? Oh, you love them? Me too. You got some for me? Oh, okay. Let me scratch that out. No candy today. No candy on Friday is what I'm gonna say. No candy on Friday. Everybody know Miss Ann Ramsey, the director of the building. When I told her, I said, "Well, Miss Ann, you know, I want to start doing comedy for the residents here." I used to do it at my old job, and I actually did them a comedy show yesterday. Since I was off, I went to my old job and gave them a comedy show. But when I got here, I told Miss Ann, I said, "Miss Ann, you know, I want to start doing comedy shows for the residents here, you know, to make me get better and, you know, keep on practicing too." And she stopped and she said, "Well, Stephen, hold on." She said, "Okay, if you do comedy here, is it going to be clean?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I take a shower every day." I take a shower every day. It's going to be clean. Yeah. Oh, wow. Y'all know Charbonnet and them, and down there in the dining room, You know, when I first got here, that's what they thought I was going to be doing. They didn't know I was going to be a porter, you know, part of the housekeeping. So Chevrolet came to me, he said, man, I need your tuxedo size and your size for your shirt. So I'm like, oh man. I said, I hope he don't think that I'm the one of his employees, which I'm an employee of the building, but that I'm not going to be working in the dining room. So I just looked at Chevrolet and he looked at me. He said, are you ready? I said, ready for what? He said, I need your size, your shirt size, so I can know. I said, well, I think I'm a large. He said, no, go ahead. He said a large. He said, you sure you ain't no medium? I said, why would you say I'm a medium? He said, well, I'm just looking at you. You look like a medium size. So I said, okay. I said, well, if you want to get a medium, you can, but I'm sitting here telling you now I'm large. So, like, I can even say 30 seconds went by, and Miss Annabelle came by. She said, okay, Stephen, you ready? So Chevrolet looked. He said, oh, man. He said, man, why you didn't tell me that you're not with us, but, you know. I told her, I said, well, Chevrolet, the way you came in, I was so hungry, I thought you were going to give me a free meal. That's why I kept going with the joke, too. he said, no, we can't give you free meal. I said, okay, thank you. I can't give you free time. So I just left with Miss Annabelle, you know what I'm saying? and went to work. Oh, sorry. You know, the other day I was watching a movie called We Were Soldiers. It's about an army movie, but it's called We Were Soldiers. That's all I know about it, because they were some soldiers. I wasn't in there, that's what I'm saying. They were some good soldiers. That's why we still here now. I love it. Like 4th of July just passed through. I was looking at 4th of July on TV, and it was looking dead at me. I said, oh, man, that's lovely. Independence Day. I said, you know what, if I could fly an airplane, I sure would, and try to check and see where the independence went. But I said, well, what I'm going to do is just keep on looking at this TV. The TV, I thought the TV was in my head. The TV looked at me and said, nah, you need to go to another channel. So when I went to another channel, guess what was on there? It was a monkey. I know y'all not, just hear me out, it was a monkey. So I looked at that monkey, the monkey was looking at me. So I looked at that monkey, the monkey looked at me. So I said, man, you know what, I'm going to do something to this monkey so it quit looking at him. I did like this. The monkey turned to back and said, nah, that's not my cousin. That's somebody else's cousin, it's not mine. Yeah. Anybody love fishing? My grandfather used to love fishing. My grandfather fished so much, he caught, right over here in the Hotham City where our church is, he caught a 50-pound catfish. And what was so scary about it was, I mean, yeah, he had his fishing rod and everything, reeling it in and everything. Once he got it so far, they like jammed a stick to try to hold up, because the man that does the articles on people that catch big fish, he did an article on my grandfather. After he did the article, the stick broke in half. So, you know, my grandfather and them, they got the catfish in the truck and everything and brought it home. What's so good about it, I like fish so much, we had a lot of fish. I mean, we had a lot of fish. We gave some to the church and everything. But I ate so much fish, I turned into one. I started... I can't eat no more fish. I don't even eat fish no more. I don't. I just look at it. I try to see if it can still swim, but it's dead, so I just push it along. Yeah. Take it out to the garbage can. It's dead now. Yeah. You know, growing up as a pastor's grandson, my grandparents was pastor and wife. Growing up with them, it was kind of funny because I didn't get to do a lot of certain things that other kids did. Okay. But yeah, you know, like I say, growing up as a pastor's child, you know, there's certain things that they requirements of you. I'm not saying that we're different than anybody. It's just, okay, that title is you know, is a strong title. Like I used to see all my friends, them, they can stand outside late at night sometimes. My grandma used to tell me all the time, boy, you better not let that street light right there, don't let it catch you. I didn't know what she was talking about, because I'm like, man, what if the street light gonna get legs and come and run and get me or something? I didn't know what she was talking about. So one day I just stood outside. It was like the street lights used to come on by 8 o'clock. I stood out there for an extra 30 minutes. And everybody was looking around, but I was right there. And she looked and said, boy, come here. What I tell you about standing outside late at night like that? I said, well, Granny, I said, what time is it? I said, the street light right there, but I was trying to check to see if we gonna get some legs to come and catch me. She said, that ain't what I was talking about. She said, you just got to be in the house at a certain time. I said, oh, okay, now I know that. She said, but what I want you to do, she said, I want you to go in the house and go to timeout. I said, well, Granny, would it be better to go to timeout or to make us a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? She thought about it. Well, go in there and make us a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I would have made the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Come like that. My grandmother, like I say, she was a bad diabetic. And we had honey buns at that time, too. So she said, well, baby, I want you to do something else for me. She said, go in the house and get us some honey buns. So I went in there, got us 2 honey buns, came right back outside. And mind me, I'm thinking like, okay, she got kind of upset because I stayed outside a little bit too late, but now she keeping me up. She did it for a reason. I went to school the next day with everything. I was still woke, everything. That's what I'm saying is, I stayed up and earned everybody clothes. I remember they used to tell us, man, earn your clothes for a week, so you don't have to keep going back and picking out a different outfit. She said, you earn clothes. No, that day I stayed outside late, I earned everybody clothes in the house. I think I even earned Jesus. He said, thank you. He said, you doing good, son. You're doing good. Keep it up. You might be going ahead. Now, I met this lady. I guess she had a dream. This lady told me that she had a dream that she was in heaven. So I'm like, wow, how is it? She said, well, Stephen, it's lovely in heaven. I said, well, okay, well, if you had a dream that you was in heaven, what you doing down here? She said, that's what I'm here to tell you. She said, when I was in heaven standing in line, waiting on my turn to get judged, and then I finally, it's my turn, I walk up and I, how you doing, God? He's like, how you doing, Mary? He said, Mary, what you doing up here? Mary said, well, I thought you called me up here. He said, nah, I'm back down to hell. Okay, I didn't get this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I like that joke. Oh, okay. The other day I was at the mailbox, and we be getting the movies from Netflix. So the mailman asked me, he said, young man, he said, whenever y'all get the movies in Netflix through the mail, he said, do they be good? I said, yes, sir. Otherwise, they wouldn't send them to us. These just the movies that we can't see what they have on the Netflix, like they categories. I said, what you don't see on there, you call them and tell them or punch it in, and they'll send it to you in the mail. The man said, okay. He said, well, let me ask you something. He said, well, do you mind if I watch a movie from Netflix? I said, nah, go ahead, you got it. He said, yeah, I got Netflix, but I want to watch one of yours. I said, nah, you don't do that. I said, because we got to turn this movie back in. He said, but you forgot I'm the postman, so that means after I get through watching it, I send it through the mail and it'll go back. I said, okay, well, can I borrow your Social Security card? He said, what would you need my Social Security card for? I said, just in case anything happens, I got the number to everything. I said, so I know what to do too when that movie don't go back there. Who they gonna charge? They gonna charge either me or you. And he was like, nah, son, go ahead and just put the movie in the mail. I said, okay, thank you. Somebody told me the other day, they say, Stephen, why you say thank you a lot? I said, because thank you. I said, thank you is a beautiful word. I was brought up to say thank you. I said, why wouldn't you want somebody, if they ask you something and you give it to them, why wouldn't you want them to say thank you? They said, well, we wasn't raised like that. I said, well, what was you raised on? Nothing. I said, okay, well, we're going to leave it just like that. Thank you. Well, I thank y'all for coming to the show. That's my time. I got some more comedy shows. Every month I got some more comedy shows. I'm going to try to get another one. I'm trying to sneak one in on this year. Because she had this one, so I'm going to try to sneak another one in next Friday or something. But yeah, I thank y'all for coming because it makes me get better and better too. And making y'all smile like that, y'all make me smile. See, right now I feel like swallowing a meatball, but I ain't going to get pregnant. Thank y'all for coming to the show.